That's kind of the way that I've tried to approach it with WRP stuff, and certainly with Trinity as well. Like, I've kind of never done it for the money. It's like I'm doing it because I'm a bike rider. So I want a product that's going to be really good. But in saying that, I think that's where the most authentic stuff comes, because it's like, well, you're doing it for the right reasons then. But I think a lot of Europeans kind of take it for granted. It's just like, oh, it's just a race down the road and it's a World Cup. It's like, it'll always be there. I could do it next year. Whereas Aussies, desperation is probably the wrong word, but for lack of a better term, it creates a bit of desperation. It's like, if we're gonna do this thing, well, like the Chad Reed type of guys.
Yeah, it's all
like,
or nothing. You're burning the boats at some
you're just
point.
like, let's just send it.
I met a gypsy.
You're more of a moto guy than me, even though I ride a fair bit of moto. Like, you're way more knowledgeable than me. But like, I've never really thought about it before. But I wonder why that is. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think like in Supercross, like AMA stuff, what do you need? Like stock frame, stock bottom end? Is that right?
Yeah, you need like stock frame, stock bottom end. I'm not sure what else you need. I think that might be. Do you look that up, Ron? See what the AMA production rule actually is.
Because then the other thing to it as well is like that whole market, just from an outsider looking in, is kind of landlocked by Japan, right? Like KTM, the KTM group, like KTM Husky, whatever, they kind of really broke the back of that thing with the hydraulic clutch.
Yes.
And even the stock bikes, like coming with aftermarket handlebars and shit like that, it really broke the back of the Japanese market, just pumping out all the same bikes. But
and I think, honestly, that's what it was. Like, I think there was almost like some unsung agreement between... Well, actually, I won't even go that far. I think that you're dealing with a company like Yamaha that probably sells more money worth of pianos
for sure
than YZ 450s.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So in terms of a product priority, it's so low down the... And then Kawasaki makes like heavy equipment. They make fucking massive shit. So there's so much else that these companies do. And I think KTM, it's like, this is all we do. So I think that's why... you saw like their innovation with KTM, and then that kind of dragged everyone else along.
100%. Because like, just say with the Japanese market, all say Yamaha have got to do compared to Cowie is like next year they've just got to be like, they know where the competition is, just incrementally improve type thing.
Well, that's where Stark's so cool. Stark's come along, and the engineering in that bike is actually phenomenal. Like, even just clicker adjustments for your rear axle, like the foot pegs, like it's the most fucking archaic way that you have to put a motocross foot peg on a fucking bike. And then that's just literally the springs all enclosed, and it's just you pull it out. Like, there's so much room to grow on dirt bikes mechanically, and we just really like kind of aren't there.
Well, I think like any engineering thing, it's kind of counterintuitive how this seems to work, but like as the engineering develops, the concepts actually get more simple. It's like starts off complicated.
Yes.
And then it's like a law of subtraction. Then it actually gets more simple. And you're like, how did this not come about first?
Yeah.
But it's almost like you got to do the fuckery to figure out like what bits you can take off. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, to tie it in, I mean, like there's other companies out there in the mountain biking world that are pretty sort of out there and groundbreaking. I'm big fans of, but I don't know. That's kind of what we're trying to do with the Trinity thing, kind of, if you want to relate it to KTM or Stark or whatever. Like, we're not just sort of following the trend with, we've just got to be better than Trek.
It's like, what's the best?
It's like, no, fuck that. Like, if you just threw everything to the wind, because, I don't know, at the end of the day, you've only got kind of one shot. So just, I don't know, pursue what's going to be best. So.
Yeah, and I think that it's when you're coming at it from that point of view too. Like, well, the thing I think as well is like, when you're a big company, say like a Specialized or a Trek or a Giant, like you're kind of hamstringing yourself in a way if you're delivering in like 2022. It's like, this is the best possible bike that we could ever produce. Like, we are all out of ideas and we cannot give anything more. Then it's like, how many years until you actually could make that product better? And it's like, you really can't afford to do that as one of those companies. It's like, okay, we've got this level of innovation. It's like, okay, let's roll this out this year, this out. Like, they're forecasting so far down the field because they're literally like hundreds of millions of dollar companies.
100%. And even like the turnaround time it takes to change a product line is years. That's the other thing. Like, if you actually, like if you're a huge company and you want to actually take a tangent and go another direction, like you've got all your carbon molds, all your forging set up.
Yeah.
Like if you want to change a direction to actually steer that ship could take years.
Yeah.
And it's like the derailleur thing. It's like, oh, why do people keep making derailleurs? It's like, well,
there's a lot of shit for derailleurs.
There
you know
is,
what I
and
mean?
there's a lot of forgings
There's a
out
lot of
there.
molds, there's a lot of
and as soon as they go away from that, it's like, well, the current product on market is then just redundant.
Yeah.
So it's like, anyway.
No. It completely makes sense. Did you find anything, Rance?
Not really, but I went into the rule book.
Yeah.
And I found.
We're just looking for the production rule here.
Sorry to take you down this
No.
rabbit hole.
Hey, that's what we're here for, mate.
Yeah.
I actually just missed being in the studio where we actually can do this shit. So many of them are like, we just haven't been in here. So limited class equipment standards to be eligible for any limit. Nah, that's not it. We're just trying to read through this rule book here. Any item listed above may be changed, modified, or added for the limited class. The following are permitted to be changed. No. Fucking rule book. Like, who's going to read this shit?
Oh, you'd be surprised, man.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, I reckon
a lot of people.
Team managers have put someone on this to go through like a gopher and pick out what they can, what rules they can get around.
Yeah. I wish, like, while we're on this tangent, keep looking around and see if you can find something. While we're on this tangent, I really wish that, like, the AMA or like whoever would actually change some rules from time to time, because like if you look at F1 or MotoGP, like that's what kind of keeps the ball rolling. That's 100%. What kind of keeps shit ticking, and that's where you do find things, because like literally what you just said, like you put out some new rules and you've got some engineers at Honda, Yamaha, whatever, that they get tasked to go through that rule book 100%. And find every single advantage, and then those things do end up filtering into the end user. And even, you know, like there's a good example is like guys running scoop tires at different, like Parlour, like that's not a sand track, you know, and they do it so they get the start, and they're going their way through the start, and then they'll sacrifice the performance of the rear tire everywhere else during the moto because everyone else is on it.
Yeah, no joke. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
They're all just trying to get the start. So it's like, let's make a rule. No sand tires unless it's a sand track, you know, but there's never anything in our sport at all. And it sort of is a little bit frustrating in a sense, because that's where you kind of find innovation, you know?
Well, this is getting real philosophical, but I'm not going to be able to articulate it the way it's actually said, but something along the lines of, forgotten who said it now, but something like pure freedom to create is born by discipline or something like that, or born by boundaries or something. And I almost think, like, to a degree, like if it's totally open-ended, it's just chaotic. Like people don't know where to start. But if you've got some defined rules, then it really sort of breeds innovation. Like in MotoGP, like I'm not that up with MotoGP, but whatever the rule is, like, you know, this at the start of the season is that the engineers will be like, all right, this is what we've got to work with. This is the boundary. How far can we push it?
This?
And you saw that like with the winglets and stuff.
We're excited to announce the launch of our new membership site, gypsytales.com, packed with exclusive content and perks that you won't find anywhere else. This is your chance to become a part of the Gypsy Gang. And as a special bonus, if you sign up to an annual membership, you'll be entered into the draw to win our custom-built TC125. Gypsy Gang.